Somebody's going to have to give an accounting for how you could do something as boneheaded as let weapons actually walk across the border. You cannot sanction illegal activity to further an ill-fated, ill-founded, ill-conceived investigation.
That was Congressman Trey Gowdy from South Carolina, and the boneheads he was referring to are people in the Department of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive who ship guns to Mexican cartels in a failed effort called Fast and Furious, and this is Power Play. Thanks for sticking around. Now, as I said before the break, just because Republicans and Democrats are both losing in the budget fight doesn't mean there aren't winners. And the winners are the people who have terrible news but have great cover to release that information while everybody's talking about the deficit. And helping us talk about that is Shannon Bream Still and our friend David Mercer, who is with us. He's a former Deputy National Finance Director for the Democratic National Committee. He is a Democratic consultant. He has a pink pen with excellent penmanship. He just gave Shannon one, so she's been bribed.
For her autograph.
Right. She's been bribed, so you can no longer trust what she has to say on this subject.
David, whatever he says.
That's right, whatever he says. He's Mr. Free Pen. Now, we heard just now from Congressman Gowdy talking about the Fast and Furious. I have to think that if this were any other week, if this were any other time, I mean, a dead U.S. Border Patrol agent, 1,000 guns shipped and lost in Mexico as part of a failed effort. You know, we say, the president likes to say, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Washington can't. Washington, really, they can't. Let's face it. There's a certain amount of focus and energy that the press has and that Congress has to deal with issues, and they pretty much eat like cowboys, one thing at a time, and go through. I have to think that this Fast and Furious thing would be a cause of national outrage, and you'd see the head of the ATF out on his cowboy can if this...
And he's not going.
And he's not going if this had happened a different time. So that is my nomination for the winner of the Turkey Drop Awards this time, that the Fast and Furious folks have gotten away with something. David, what is your nominee?
My nomination is for Libya, and that with the time passing since we first went in there with NATO forces, led right now by France, who actually is supporting the opposition in trying to solidify their standing against Gaddafi, and what Admiral Mullins has said in a statement that strategy is indeed working as it relates to finally, hopefully, seeing in some time Gaddafi's removal from power. And I think we're going to see that. It does take some time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and Gaddafi ain't leaving in a day.
Right.
And I
Carthage,
think that, right. And so I think that we will see that, and that was good news that is not following up on the headlines as we see the debt debate overwhelming everything.
And one of the things that you do, we call them turkey drops, by the way, Internet, in an homage to WKRP in Cincinnati, where they had their failed turkey drop on Thanksgiving, and the famous line, of course, being, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. They dropped turkeys out of a plane to a bad result. So when you have something that's not going to take flight, that you know has got no wings, and it's going to hit the pavement, do it when nobody's watching.
A holiday Friday afternoon is always
good. But we've had nothing but Friday afternoons because all we've been talking about is the debt and deficit. I want to
Thank God for Power Play.
Right. We're here talking about it. We're talking about it. Thanks, Internet. And to your point, I want to read to you what Mike Mullins said yesterday on the Libya war.
Sure.
There's still plenty of challenges associated with the regime forces who have adjusted, and that's not a surprise, adjusted to the opposition tactics. And we are generally in a stalemate. And he sort of left that one out there yesterday on the Libya war. Oh, like, by the way, this civil war that we got into, that's stalemated. And so that is, you are very strong with your nominee for the Libya war because that was a magnificent turkey drop that he had yesterday. Stalemate. I said stalemate, didn't I? Was that the first time I said
it? But he had a good close on the statement.
Yes, that's right. He had a good close. It hit the pavement and stayed there. Okay, now, Ms. Bream, what's your nominee?
You have to know that Congressman David Wu, Oregon Democrat, has got to be thrilled that everybody is so obsessed with not defaulting and what we're doing because he's got yet another problem bubbled up over the weekend that he had some type of alleged sexual encounter with a young woman, graduated high school last year, allegedly the daughter of a longtime friend or maybe a donor. He apparently has told his staff it was consensual. She apparently has called his Capitol Hill office and left a voicemail allegedly wanting to talk about it, distressed, concerned, intimating it was unwanted. He is married, I believe, currently in the process of divorce, separation. He's got 2 young daughters. But this is just the latest for him, because you remember late last year, half of his staff quit in the midst of his re-election campaign when he was sending odd messages and the tiger picture of him in a tiger costume.
And we should explain.
Yeah.
When you say picture of himself in a tiger costume, you say, what's that?
Yeah.
But it certainly wasn't Halloween, and he didn't look like Tony the Tiger.
No, and he was sending
it his little mittens up like that.
And he's sending it to staff, and they said at the time he had very erratic behavior. They wanted. There were some of them who said they thought he should be hospitalized. He did win re-election. Half of them quit, and the tough thing is that things from his past have come out as well now. A sexual assault in 1976 alleged by someone that he had dated. He was punished. He's admitted to that and said, "I did something that hurt someone I cared very much about." So, all of that is kind of on the back page, given the debt.
And given the obsession with sex scandals and the fact that it follows on the heels of Anthony Weiner, and that it is part of this continuing saga of bizarreness with Congressman Wu, it would have everything. And you're quite right. If the debt explosion were not going on right now, you could not. No page in Politico would be free of 3 stories about David Wu and all the pictures of him in the tiger suit.
But when I read this story, the one thing that came to mind that stood out was the Gary Condit story, and that hopefully with this being tempered and not being on the front pages when it does return to coverage, that it will not be with the reckless abandon the media cover the Condit story.
Reckless abandon has hereby been denounced. The winner on the chat from David Larson, KC2YKN, and Mike Wise all agreed Fast and Furious is the most overlooked story, not just because I said so, but because it's just the truth.
I came in second.
And now, as we like to do, we want to leave you with a word from our friend Charles.